Hey guys, it's Athena. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I wanted to make a video about a little bit about like mental health, surviving things in life that were difficult, traumatic experiences that you've had, or different parts of your life being not how you wanted them to be, or, really just the struggle of life can be so much and so overbearing. And I decided to film here instead of in the kitchen because of the birds. I heard them, and it helped me feel a little bit more calm, and I felt like they resonated with me, and like I could just feel more comfortable, I guess. But really, I listened to a lot of Oprah's SuperSoul conversations, her interviews with a lot of people, and I have found that those are so helpful, so impactful, and just really, I think all knowledge is good knowledge. Like, I think learning from these different, I would even consider a lot of her guests philosophers, even if they don't go necessarily by the title of being a philosopher. I definitely feel like that's how they are, and their thought processes and their knowledge. And I'm definitely very inspired and opened. My mind is opened into thinking different things that I had never thought before. Specifically, I wanted to show you guys one that I listened to last night, and let's see. Let's see. So it's Byron Katie. I guess her name's Katie Byron. Set Yourself Free, and this is Oprah's Super Soul Conversations. This one was posted February 19th, 2019, and I'm trying to see if I can show you where it shows like the details about the actual episode. But anyways, I really recommend this podcast. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think that all the different people that she interviews, people like what's his name? Oh, I'm having a blank. Your Inner Purpose, A New Earth with what's his name? Let's see. Eckhart Tolle. He is so amazing. Eckhart Tolle is a really amazing guy. He's written so much, and I really recommend this episode as well. A New Earth, Your Inner Purpose, Chapter 9, or even just looking up Eckhart Tolle's different books on like life and philosophy and that type of thing. And I like, I guess to go back to the point of saying that all knowledge is good knowledge, I really find that everything that they say is very impactful. It doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with it 100%. There are things, and like I kind of struggle with like sort of the more mystical side of like spirituality, where they definitely believe strongly in like God and God's will, and Katie Byron says that there's our purpose, other people's like business. It's our business, other people's business, and God's business. I'm not like a believer in that. But hearing her perspective is very interesting, and I really liked a lot of the things that she said about believing your thoughts, and we have to question who we are, who is the I, who is myself, like your being, and disconnecting from the thoughts that you think, and that your thoughts can even cause you to be reliving trauma over and over and over again. And I know that I have gone through a lot of experiences that have really pushed me to the edge, and that have definitely left very deep scars on my psyche and my heart and your soul, and really push you to a place where you just feel like a sense of hopelessness, or like it was just so terrifying and awful. And life after those experiences can also be really hard, because then you have to move into a place of like finding peace within yourself, finding how to deal and cope with these things. And basically she was saying that every time we associate with the thought that you have, it's almost like you're reliving the event over and over, like it's happening again. And she said that if you could change it and flip it and re reassociate yourself, in the sense, I'm not doing the best at articulating what her practice is. She has like 4 steps, and then a fifth step. That's like her formula. But again, her name is Katie Byron, if you want to check her out. But basically, she was saying that if we are questioning our thoughts and we're questioning what our beliefs and our thinking is on the different things that have happened to us and our experiences, know that you're not going through it at this moment. You've survived it, and your reality, it's already taken place in the past, and this is the now. And all of that sounds really great. I mean, I of course it's like, yeah, that sounds really, it's so much more simple than it is to actually practice that and be able to um, have that in your life and keep that momentum of just living in the moment, and not like reliving everything over and over again. And I don't know if I can 100% stand by her in her sense that you can, feel like as much freedom as she does from just living in the moment. I definitely struggle with that. I'm still like a novice kind of person, still learning a lot, still building my own ideology and philosophy. But definitely, even if though I don't 100% agree with different people, I still think that their knowledge and what their perspective is very helpful and beneficial. And I'm gonna go grab some water, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I have my water with me. So basically, what I really want to stress on my channel is that I don't want everything to appear like, picture perfect, like super fabricated and not real. I want to have that real life aspect to my channel and to my brand of myself. I don't want everything to feel like sort of this fantasy world of not really like connecting with the real world. I think that when you're able to connect with someone through suffering and like the dark side of life, I think that you really hit a special chord inside of that person. And for me, at least, when other people express different experiences that they've had or things that they've gone through, it definitely really is insightful, and it helps make you feel like you're not alone. And I have definitely been completely hopeless in life before. I've gone through some really difficult things, and there was a point in my life where I didn't think that there was going to be anything else left to live for, and that was really hard. It's really scary to be in that place, and there have been different moments throughout my life where I thought that the situation I was in was never going to change, or that I wouldn't be out of like a negative situation and be able to have freedom and express myself and everything. And it's crazy to sit here as the version I am of myself in 2019 and look back at the different stages of my life and the different people I've been, in the sense of like the growth and the development of my outer self, my inner self, just who I am as a person has grown and changed and morphed and is still the same very much as who I was earlier on in life, and how those life situations affected me. They still ring really true. And, life hasn't been this like picture perfect fairy tale. It's been very uncomfortable, grotesque, um, painful, visceral, um, just very, very intense. Like, it's definitely a very intense walk of life that I've experienced. And I have a side of me that is so happy and joyful and giddy and just like, very bubbly. And I try to post that as much as possible. but at the same time, I have a really, really dark side, and that's kind of like why I like darker things in life, like Hellraiser or Silent Hill, because I really identify with these darker themes in life, and I really identify with like really, really difficult narratives of like, you know, your testimony, what, you know, your crucible, like what you've been put through and how you've come out of it, or what decisions you've had to make in life and all of that. And I really am not like, I try as best as I can, and I'm still learning not to be judgmental. I mean, someone could tell me that they've, you know, killed someone, but I'm still going to look at them with an open heart and try and understand, um, to the best of my ability, the situation, what's going on, what has happened, and to not like shut anyone out or make them feel like they're less than at all. Because I've definitely been treated like I was like subhuman, and I've been ostracized and just looked down upon by people for being different. And there's so much that I want to tell you guys. I have such a story to tell, but unfortunately, I am in a legal situation where I am trying to deal with and somehow get justice for myself. So I'm not really able to elaborate on everything and really go into detail. And a lot of times it sucks because I feel like I put on this bathing suit and I have to just walk around the pool instead of jumping in. And like my whole life, like at this moment in my life, I'm just like waiting and waiting and waiting to speak my truth and to really give a full 100% fuller picture to who I am and my story and what I'm about. You know, I'm not this white girl that's just had this like, you know, normal life. I don't think that there really ever is a normal stage or type of life. I've been different. Sorry, the camera cut out, but I was just saying that I've been different walks of life within my lifetime. I'm 20 years old, and this is the first real moment where I feel like I am I still have battles and I still have things that really dark days, and like I'm so grateful that for the past couple of days I've woken up and I felt not so dark. And this is probably like day 4 of not feeling so dark. It doesn't feel like a mania or anything where it's like an extreme high or an extreme low. It just kind of feels like I can sit with life and like the weight of existence isn't so heavy. So that's a really nice feeling. I feel very like the gratitude and gratefulness I have for that, to just feel this like gut feeling of like calmness, like overall just like a calm kind of feeling, and to not be so just like tight and nervous and tense and uncomfortable, because living in that state is so uncomfortable and like just very hard to go through. So I definitely feel really grateful for the fact that I felt like I can sort of go with the flow of life for the past couple of days. I'm like, that's a big step. That's a big, you know, thing moving forward, and just taking it a day at a time. But I also know that how I feel changes, and when I'm in those moments of like really deep darkness, and you feel like you're in a different mindset, and you feel like you're almost like, it's like you get taken away from yourself and pulled out of that calmness, and you're put into a state of a really deep dark place, and getting through those days is really hard. And definitely reliving through traumatic experiences that you've had, or wrongdoings, or mistakes that you've made. I've made so many mistakes in my life, things that I have so much grief over, that I feel horrible about, that things have happened to me. I have just, you know, in different cases, just everything. And it's just really important for me, I feel like, to narrate that, you know, everything that I put out there, for the most part, I have like 50% control over what I say, in terms of like talking about my life and who I am and my story and my journey and everything. But Sorry, let me get some water. As time goes on, I'm going to be able to gain more and more momentum and more ability to actually vocalize so many things that I want to share and say. And, you know, if you're in a place in life, or if you have been in a place in life where you look back and you think like you're uncomfortable or embarrassed or ashamed, that's not who you are in this moment. That story and that narrative isn't you. You've survived, you've made it past that point, and your present reality now is your canvas. And where you're at right now doesn't have to be where you are for the rest of your life. Everything is constantly changing, and you don't ever have to feel like a mistake you've made or an experience that you've had defines you. We define ourselves. Our reality is very subjective. Everyone's reality is so subjective and different, but whoever you want to be, you can create that and you can be that, no matter what. And they're just visceral things like going through your day-to-day life, just the normal average day-to-day struggles and ups and downs and all of that. And if you feel like you're stuck, and all of that is temporary and it's gonna change, and if you can just work little by little, and really all of this I'm saying just even for myself, because I'll go for like these really long walks where I exercise and then I just cry. Like I stay in the house a lot. I wouldn't say I'm agoraphobic, but I definitely have a hard time putting myself out there into the world. I feel very fearful of the world from different experiences that I've had, and just hyper awareness, empathy, being an empath. And I don't like people to really see me, so I go out and exercise at night, or rather in the evening when it's darker. I feel much more comfortable rather than being in like direct sunlight where everyone can just see everything, and I just feel so much more comfortable when it's darker. And there was a point in my life where I literally had blankets over my window. When I was in high school, I would put blankets, even coming out of high school, for I think like around like 5 or 6 months. I just didn't want to come out of my room. I didn't feel like I was even tapped into like a life worth living, and it was a really, really dark time. And I felt like all the best qualities that I had were gone, or that I had used them up, and that I was never going to tap into a version of myself that I felt comfortable with. And like, just if I could tell that girl and look back and be like, I know that it's really uncomfortable in this moment, and you might hate your reflection, you might hate your life situation, you might hate the cards that you've been dealt, that you're gonna make it through, and you're gonna progress, and you're gonna be that butterfly that you've always wanted to be. And I still don't feel like I'm the butterfly that I want to be, but I know that I've come really far. And that testimony, that me in this moment, I am not in front of those people that hurt me anymore. I'm not in front of people that have done things. I'm not in the mistakes that I've made. I am not in any of the trauma. I have made it to this moment, and I'm free, and there's nothing around me that I feel is hurting me, and I have to just embrace and cherish that moment and realize that I've made it. I made it through everything. All the things that I didn't think I was going to be able to get through, I got through, and I made it like a cockroach. I made it through the nuclear storm. I'm living in a Twinkie. Shout out to Wally for that reference. And I'm alive, and I made it. And that is just the biggest thing, because we lose so many people to suicide and depression, anxiety, through trauma. And to know that those darkest, deepest, darkest moments and times definitely pass. That is not going to be your reality forever. That is like my biggest message and my biggest testimony. Time is fluid and we move, and life is subjective, and you can really create your reality and take back control from a very unforgiving world and flip that and make it a world and try and make it a better place for yourself and who you are and for those around you. So that's my video for today. I definitely just never want there to be like a facade that I only want to put out, like, you know, a very highly fabricated or airbrushed version of myself. I want to be able to show you guys that I have some really, really ugly scars and some really bad habits and bad qualities about myself and bad traits, and I'm very much a messy, struggling student in life, and nothing about me is perfect or mastered, and I just want you guys to know that. So if you feel that way, just know you're not alone, and that I'm in it with you. And anyone can give a speech, but practicing it and living what you say is really hard, but I definitely am trying to do that. So thank you so much for watching and listening. My foot and my foot and my leg are like totally asleep right now. But thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Thank you for watching.